Yeah, I thought JoJo, like when you and I were in high school, like she wore these like jackets that kind of ended here. Like they were impractical jackets.
That is such a mentally ill thing to remember. Like you're not remembering the music, the like singular talent, the fact that she was like
JoJo's so sweet.
All of our first crush, one of my first like girl crushes.
Oh yeah. My girl crush was a little earlier than JoJo.
Well, I guess. Well, I mean, my girl crushes, they're few and far between.
I just felt like I want to wear that kind of little jacket, and it can be tough.
Did you ever pursue that?
Well, I'll tell you right now.
Jackets?
So someone gave me this shirt, audience member. It's way too small. It's like it's tight, but I wanted to wear it somewhere, so I put it here for the pod. It fits, sure. Listen, I'd like to.
You said someone gay is coming today. Mm-hmm. let me wear.
I'm gonna gay it up.
Let me wear
Ross,
a passable
that's
outfit.
A special event for the podcast. Yeah. Someone gay on the show. So this was a nice audience gift, but I got one that I have not told Russell about yet. I got it at a stand-up show, but as a podcast fan, and I've been in LA, had to do a lot of episodes without Russell, and they said, "Okay, I want you to close your eyes. I think I want you to close your eyes. It's nothing bad." Okay, but yeah, you'll see. So basically, they got me. They got me. Just keep your eyes closed. So
this is like a bit.
They got me this. Okay, so don't open your eyes. You see this, right?
Yes.
You see it is now. Okay.
I'm so jealous. I want one. Keep your eyes peeled. I might steal that today.
Okay, actually, can I?
Me?
Yeah.
Russell, don't you fucking open it.
Don't open your eyes.
I'm not. I'm like, what is this?
It's okay. So this is for the next time.
This is for my everyday use every single day.
If you do a drag performance, all right, ready? On the count of three, Russell, open your eyes to see what this fan got me. 1, 2, 3.
That
oh my god
is so upsetting.
I don't know what it looks like on, but it feels right. It feels correct.
I am really, really, really upset by this. This is... It's scary.
Oh,
it's actually the
when
scariest
you do that,
thing.
When you do that,
No!
Oh my god! It looks like it could be real. It looks like it could be real.
It's Skinny Russell.
It's Russell.
Oh my god, this
Does
is
this work?
really...
Oh my god.
Oh my god, the mouth doesn't move.
And it keeps me warm. I just love it.
When you put the hoodie on it, and I'm not wearing my glasses, but it is eerily
Wait, Gianmarco, it's actually fucking psycho that you did not tell me until right now to wait for this. Because I can't imagine getting a mask like that, and then that is crazy.
I just want you to be able to see, Ross, like what we're looking at.
Yeah, I don't even know what it looks like.
Oh my god.
Oh, it gives. Oh my god, wait, it's so scary.
It's scarier. Your head is really long. It doesn't look as good on you.
It doesn't look as good on me?
Better.
You don't like Jewish
Is
Russell?
that what Oh my god, it's so scary. But you know what?
With the hood, it's really scary.
I'm sure, but with it, you have to put it on next.
Yeah.
Well, you can see out of it perfectly. This is perfect to rob a bank with.
That is so scary.
Where do you even get those? Where do you get that made?
I don't know. It's great. You put it on.
Russell, you have to. You have to. And you'll need to start giving these as parting gifts for the pod. Just like, I would like one of my...
Okay.
Wait,
are you?
Yeah.
It's way off.
Yeah.
No. Put it
up.
Up.
Wait, that's
wait.
there we go. Oh my god, it's so weird. It literally... Oh my god. You look like just AI.
Oh my god, it's Fat Russell. It's amazing. I love it.
Wow, what a great gift.
Wow. Who gave you that?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I mean, they say this is for Russell, and I promise I did what they wanted me to do.
Oh my god.
So we'll keep this in the studio. But thank you. This is The Downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.
This is a downside. This is the
a
downside.
downside.
This is a place we complain, we get negative, we don't have to pretend things are good. We can be honest about how we're feeling, even if it makes us look bad. We're going to be there for each other for this one next hour and a half. I'm here with my co-host Russell Daniels. We're back in New York.
And finally back.
Join the Patreon if you like the show, patreon.com/downside. 2 bonus episodes every month and footage from our live episodes once a month from our amazing tour and lots of other little good behind-the-scenes little documentary that Paige put together that ends beautifully. It has a really beautiful moment.
Have I seen this yet?
No, but you were there for all of it.
Yeah. Okay.
We are joined...
Return guest.
Rosé McCorkle.
Hi, I did something right.
Mm-hmm.
I did something right.
You
I'm
did.
back.
You did. You were
I
so
appreciate
fun.
you being here.
I appreciate being here.
I ran
Thank you for
into
having
you
me.
on Saturday at a party.
That's partially why.
You remembered me.
I mean, I always remember you, but it was like, oh, it was good to see you Saturday. I mean, it was our friend Connie's birthday. Also a guest, former guest of the Downside.
Yes.
Although has not been invited to return. I just want to point that out.
No. I figured he's probably still at that party with 3,000 gay men that look like him.
3,000. Yeah, 3,000 of himself.
I've never seen so many people that look the same at a party. It was like, do you know what I mean?
And I saw this.
What do you mean?
Video.
Yes, of course I know what you mean. We were the only two who didn't look like him.
What? So what was a party where what it was all?
I mean, it was just, it's beefy, muscular, sexy daddy types in their 40s who,
Sure.
just, they're like Adonis people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Like that was the whole party. It was like as if it was a casting session.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
us
Like
and then Marla Mandel as a wild card.
Marla.
As a wild card. But
Carrie St. Louis for 2 seconds.
Carrie St. Louis
Yeah.
for comedic relief. But
Yeah.
Now you did this music video I saw with Constantine. By the way, watch the Constantine episode. We'll put the link.
Yeah.
He had a clip where this guy was like, "Stop setting me up with your ugly friends."
Yeah.
LOL.
He's like, "I like people who look identical to me, and that is it."
I don't think he
We gotta
means
get Connie
it.
one of those Connie masks.
Sure.
Well, we should have had him at that bar. It would have been real great. Really great.
You released a music video with him.
I did.
Very sexual.
Yes.
So
How was that filming that
Was there
way?
an intimacy coordinator?
No. We were the. Well, here's the thing. So I've released a few music videos this year so far, and the first one to kick it off was for a former music release from a couple years ago. I Drove All Night.
Yeah.
A cover I did, inspired by our time, Russell, in Titanic, the Celine musical. And, we made this music video of me fully in drag. We rented a car. We had drones filming, going down the highway in Long Island. It was cute. Who am I driving to see? Constantine. We were like, we need a bed scene. We need something, sexy. Like what is the turnout of this drive? And, we were thinking about who. I was like, well, he needs to be like way bigger than me so I can feel like teeny tiny, but also like who do I feel really comfortable with, rolling around in the sheets and it actually like come off sexy. So we thought about Constantine and truly, thank God most of it was like moody close-ups, like not showing the face because we were pissing our pants the whole time. The idea of Constantine and I having sex is hilarious. So we were, and it was like, first of all, I'm in full drag, so I'm like sweating boots. It's disgusting. It was a lot of fun.
How is there a lot of sex happening in drag, or is it like it's a nightmare to keep it all on?
There's tons. Not with me though. That's a personal preference, and that's not something I'm ever trying to do.
It just feels like there's someone pulls something too hard, it falls off. This gets uncoupled. I don't know.
No, totally. It's a fantasy for sure. But my drag is it's lots of different things, but most of the time, it's like a lot of false hair. A lot of really restricting undergarments that are very uncomfortable to wear.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of hair tangled from the waist, from the eyebrow down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like in drag having sex, I would just be terrifying, and it would be zero pleasure. But a lot of girls love that, and a lot of men love that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of partners are into that. So
Can I ask a tucking question?
you can ask, for a demonstration,
Second
sweetie.
episode. Sure.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so every guy, drag or not, at some point you go in the mirror, you go like this, and you go, oh, that's interesting, just to see what it looks like. But the tuck, is it further? Is it how does it latch in there? Is this taped? Is it just the pressure of pulling up the?
There's so many different ways. Like the ultimate tuck is taped. You use a strong. What's really popular is, people I think use duct tape, but
Duct tape on.
but I think more popular is like plastic vinyl tape.
Okay.
And here's the thing: you have to be hairless to do that, because that means you're.
I saw a recent music video of yours. There's no way that's the case.
That's not the case.
Yeah.
Right. So there's special panties, tucking panties that help facilitate and hold things in place a little bit. If you wear a lot of tights to conceal padding and leg hair, which I do, I wear in 4 to 6 pairs of thick Capezio dance tights in drag. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
But it's part of the illusion. It's part, for me, it's just part of the fantasy as well. But the kind of the pressure of the tights and putting the seam at different places helps suck it all in. I don't tape. I'm way too hairy to do that. And I also some girls have a meaty pussy. so I'm that girl. But a lot of
explain
girls.
the connection to me about the meaty.
I'm not yanked all the way back.
Oh, I see
You're
what you're saying.
there's some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
also,
sure.
but also when I'm femme presenting in drag on stage, no one's like, is that real?
No one's transvestigating a
right.
drag queen.
Not with me usually.
Sure.
So, but yeah, there's basically you know how tucking works? Do you want me to describe it?
Yeah, well, I think I know how it works.
think we
It's you
heard
just
about
you
it
pull
once.
and you
you-
far back, and so that it's
so what you're pulling your dick and the skin of your ball sack back, but your actual balls, you send them back from where they came, from where they descended
Now
during
this
puberty.
is the part where I am all the way. You feel that's scary. That sounds stressful to me.
Are you ever? Are you ever now? Y'all aren't bottoming, I'm sure, but are you ever just laying on your back with your legs up like this? Maybe
Yeah.
it's yoga.
You know I am.
So
I am. That's how I sleep.
Right. It's definitely how you wake up. But
I'm doing yoga. Yeah, all that stuff.
But yoga's a great example. But sometimes they'll pop back and you say, "Oh,
But the word
what was
pop
that?"
to me is
Sure, they roll back.
roll.
They fall back. So you just that's with the help of gravity. When you are tucking, you're doing without gravity usually, and
Yeah.
you just gently kind of move stuff around, and then it goes up there, and then what's left you pull back to create the illusion of flatness. And that sound, I know it sounds really it makes you kind of squeamish. You get so used to the feeling. And I mean, I recently, we said we were going to talk about this as well, but I decided to kind of switch shit up, and I grew a mustache, and I really took a left from my femme fantasy
you
and
let
drag.
one ball out.
Well, but here's the thing: I was wearing different stuff. I was letting my chest hair show. I was really experimenting, and I'm still kind of getting into that. But one thing I found, I did a couple of shows not tucked with they were just wearing underwear and kind of sexy, had my legs out, but giving dude.
Yeah.
And I didn't like not being tucked on stage. And I remember when we did Titanic, that was the first time in a while that I've been on stage, consistently without being in drag. And it's so weird that I have this the relationship with my package now that is it's almost like it gives me an extra air of confidence or whatever to not to have a vagina.
It really is crazy though, because I feel like I watched your season when I was working with you, but then I knew you for so long, and then when we did that one fundraiser, I came and you were all gussied up. It was the first time I was seeing you in person. And it really was oh, this is a different person. In my mind, it's not, but it is. There's a whole thing that comes along with it.
Yeah.
It feels where it would be tricky to make it's you, but then just doing Titanic as it's interesting. It felt like meeting someone.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
What is when
that
it
makes
comes with body hair, drag, and drag being presenting as a specific kind of woman, a version of a woman, or certainly feminized, no hair. were there ever any discussions where it was like someone chose body hair and it's like, no, you're just being lazy, you just don't want to shave, or like what is the evolution of that been?
Well, I think we've entered officially a space where it's like anything goes, and we celebrate that. And,
we've entered. Is this new?
Oh, I mean, it's not new, but it's more widely appreciated, which I'm happy for, because I'm fucking done shaving. I don't want to shave my body anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I just there's so much hair going on. Not only is it like so time consuming and painful, but I love my body hair. So I don't want to get rid of it. And so I'm like in this place now where I'm like trying to wear like full turtlenecks every time I'm in drag. Like if I don't want to show that, but there are times and places where I do. And you know, there's so many different kinds of drag. I think drag used to be really known as, I mean, people used to refer to the acronym, you know, dressed as a girl or whatever.
I'm sorry to
drag.
counter you here, but you missed a whole letter in the word drag.
I know. That's why I'm so confused. I forgot, but it's something like that. Now it's more so known as just, you know, completely trying to abandon and rewire the concept of gender. So really, like, you know,
now is and I know there is no overall. I mean, I will say drag certainly seems to have kind of like the king or the pope or whatever in RuPaul more than some other industries.
Yeah.
But like, is everyone on board with the idea of drag is, I want to know what you just said about exploration of gender, or has it always been that? Or are some people going like, no, drag is not having a mustache while doing this? Or is it open? Is it loose? Does RuPaul, is there going to be a season where 3 drag queens have a mustache?
Potentially. I mean, keep in mind, Drag Race is like a global affair now, and in the other, you know, countries, there's been more progressive visibility for body hair. You know,
which countries?
Queens with facial hair. I know that Italy crowned a winner that had.
I love Italy's just like, we can't. It's just too
The
much.
body hair, they're like, just like
Every drag queen in Italy has a hairy ass.
Right.
That's
exactly
their take on it.
The UK has had a few. The UK had a winner, literally named Danny Beard, who has facial hair, you know, as part of the ritual. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's it definitely it's most popularized as a like, you know, male to female, like classic transformation.
Yeah.
But it's just not that way anymore, and part of that is because drag has become not only accepted but like pushed into a space where we're I wouldn't say like we're celebrating, you know, cis women doing drag, and of course we're celebrating trans people doing drag, and we're celebrating drag kings. Not that we weren't always doing that, but like drag race has started to embrace it.
I feel like when we talked to Dusty Ray Bottoms, there was talk about there was a straight contestant in RuPaul, and it was like
fuckers need to get more drag. You talked about Dusty Ray Bottoms the last time I was here. You need to get more drag queens on this.
We're trying. I'll show you my text to Jinx Monsoon right now.
Okay, all right. Oh, Jinx would love to come here.
Apparently, but they're very busy.
they're doing busy. I mean, they think they open soon. The show opens like soon.
Pirates.
Yeah, you're both in tech at the same fucking time.
Pirates.
We're trying.
Yeah. I can help.
Please.
I know the girls.
Listen, Bianca. I've messaged Bianca. I opened for Bianca once.
You're also going for like some of the most successful, busiest.
Yeah, trying to grow this podcast. So
far, you've mentioned Jinx Monsoon and Bianca Del Rio. Like, you know,
we have DMs out to RuPaul.
We got some. I can't send a second one until they accept the request. The downsides of fracking. So will that help?
Wait, let's talk about though, because you did have a very impressive mustache, and that seemed to come easy to you. Now, if I were to take away the rest of your beard, how would you feel about your mustache?
I've never. Y'all should ask mine. I haven't shaved in a long time fully.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried growing a mustache once.
I think you could pull it off really well.
Where would it? But would it? would it just be here? Like yours, like was out. It was.
I have my mustache. My upper lip is, I don't know. It's covered in the hair. Like if I want it to be, it can be really thick and like wide.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on how you trim it, because yours you could kind of handlebar it down a little bit.
Oh, that sounds like it's gonna be bad.
No,
Handlebar.
But my like go to is to follow the line of the lip and just let it kind of like. So you would just, I think, like angle it off.
I feel like you'd
I
see.
can't. No,
You could.
Okay, what would he do?
You could, but your hair's a little fair.
Too fair.
Your hair's
It's
a little
too-
fair.
It's
The hair is there though. The shape is there.
The
you
shape
could
is there.
dye it. I've dyed my mustache.
Oh, maybe.
I would love to
My
see.
dad
though,
has an impressive.
I would love to
mustache.
see though, not a mustache, but where the full. Let me touch your mouth inside, where it's like the full circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would look good. No,
Do you know what
it's
I
too
hate?
light.
I hate when someone just has that little thing here.
A soul patch.
Yeah, hate.
I had a soul patch in high school.
I had a soul patch too, because one of the only things I could grow. You know
what
then.
was the movie? It was I believe it was Chad Michael Murray in Freaky Friday.
Oh,
he had a
wow.
soul patch.
Oh my god!
Why is it called soul patch?
You wouldn't know.
I don't know. It did not give either of us much soul. That is.
But I grew it like when I was barely growing hair to begin with, so it was a wispy soul patch.
Yeah.
Oh,
wispy beards.
do you have, now that you have more mustache stuff? So do you have any? What do you call a mustache wig?
Oh, like a mustache wig?
Is there a name?
I mean, you would just call it a lace front mustache. Yeah.
I thought there was like different name. Like, isn't there like a pubic hair wig?
A
merkin.
merkin.
A merkin.
Yeah.
There's a merkin, but there's not a mustache wig name.
A stashkin. I don't know. There's
A stashkin.
a stashkin. No, you just call it a mustache.
Do you have any wigs? Mustache?
No, I don't. I mean, I haven't needed one. I just grow a mustache.
Let's talk about. I want to play a little bit of this video.
What a great choice.
Overqualified. Because I want to talk about body hair.
Okay.
Because I got a lot. That's a mustache.
Baby, I bet you wanna get to know me, but you'll have to pick your jaw up off the floor. First class passenger if you're flying with me, but you'll have to check your ego at the door. Call me a saint, but I'm a missionary.
I was like, oh
Save
my
a
God.
horse and boy ride me. Lost for words, yeah, you know dictionary. Learned it all, so now I teach.
I pause it there. Now that's.
All right, pause it there.
I can see why you're just. I
All right, pause it there.
pause it right there. Zooming on the cum gutters right there. Yeah, I can imagine you decided you wanted to stop shaving.
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's just a lot of work.
Is that a
Frequent
always
work. Frequent work.
I always loosely go a Jewish Italian, and I think it's the Jewish side. But like I feel like looking at your mustache, and I don't really know these things, but I'm like, European. There's something about it that feels, because you're from Scotland.
Yeah, I'm definitely built like somebody from the UK, and like my body hair reflects that too, both in like the color, the texture, the shape that it grows in, the amount of it.
Now we both have like a happy trail. Mine's too thick.
Mine is thick as well.
Mine's thicker. Mine looks like a gross line. It's so.
Do you shave it?
No, because I couldn't.
But
trim
that
specifically
line, that central line is good because it's like natural contouring. That's the thing also I love about body hair is it's like if you brush it the right way, or if you're lucky enough that it grows the right way, it makes you look more svelte.
Do you brush?
No, I mean, but like you see, like in the center, to where like the center of like a set of abs would be.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely like
I'm like, what's under there? Who knows? How many packs?
Right, not as many as not as many as because you it's like makeup.
Hair all over, ass.
Oh yeah,
It's a
all
nightmare.
over. From the I mean, you can see there's like spots on me that like don't have it on the waist up, but from the waist down, sweetie, it's over. There's like a square inch on my feet that I could get a tattoo without shaving. But
When I was younger, I was. Oh, by the way, I did get a tattoo recently, and only
I haven't seen it yet.
after the hair started growing, and I was like, oh right, hair's gonna grow through this thing. I don't think it looks as good with. There's a blank part of it. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
not blank. It's wispy brown strand. So I saw it. I was like, you fucking idiot! How could you not know that?
LOL.
When I was a kid, I didn't feel. I didn't know. I didn't know other people if they had hairy asses. I assumed I had an unusually hairy ass. Because
When you were a kid, what age?
When I
You're
was like-
talking the cheeks or the asshole?
I'm talking
All of it.
All of it. I mean, I've never been able to look that deep in the asshole. You'd have to tell me, but
What a shame. What a sad thing to say.
the mirrors are always too high. I saw Green Day in concert, and he would moon the audience. Billy, what's his name? Billy Joe Armstrong.
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel.
Joe Armstrong. Yeah.
And he would moon the audience, and his ass was like smooth, and I thought I said that looks good aesthetically. I think I've been, I guess, grown up to think that body hair. My mom, she sees body hair, she goes, ugh, no one wants to see all that hair, and that stuck with me. And I saw Billy Joe Armstrong's ass, and I was like, I want that ass.
No,
for
yeah.
myself.
That's definitely like a conditioning thing, especially I think the 90s and the 2000s we got, or at least I can speak for myself and maybe all three of us, like that was kind of like an aesthetic that was favorable, you know, like
Yeah.
being smoother for men. There's also, I think there's like a whole thing with like circumcision around that, like what was viewed as like favorable, because like I used to feel I'm uncircumcised because I'm European,
Yeah.
but I remember growing up, especially when I moved to America, like locker room kind of like culture, oh my god, I had so much shame around body hair and circumcision.
Were you fully in the locker room when you go get naked? Like I did. We would all wear underwear. I just remember being like a moment of like, oh my god, no one's wearing tighty whities anymore. I'm a loser. Like boxer culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
No,
boxer
that's another.
culture was
That's
huge.
boxer
Yeah.
culture.
Oh
Exactly.
my God.
But you know what I mean?
People
Like
have
there's
moved
these
on.
things
People
that
have
we
moved
kind
on.
of yeah.
Yeah, I cannot believe the bags I was wearing around my body when I was in boxers.
I think I've told this before in here. I remember being really young and seeing like this guy change, and he had a big bush, and it was before I was at that thing, and I was like,
Right.
it was shocking to me. You know, I was like, oh my god, what is that? Like that's gonna happen?
I'll never
like-
forget the first time in PE in middle school where I saw a boy changing who was like the first out of all of us to like really go through puberty, and I was just like gobsmacked. I was like, I mean, that was
It
like
was
a
scary.
formative
I was like,
moment for
that's a
me.
bush. It's a giant
I think
bush.
I walked in on my mom and my stepdad once, and
They both had bushes.
sure, let's say both. And that was early being like, oh, that's a bush.
Wait,
Right.
what were they doing?
They
They were having sex.
Oh,
But like I didn't see the incoitus,
I didn't
but
know
I
if
saw
they
like
just were,
the
like, standing
scream.
there. Yeah.
But I remember Scary Movie. There was a scene where he's hooking up with some woman who's never hooked up,
Yes.
and this is like before
He
I knew about
opens-
everything. He opens her panties and the bush explodes out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Early bush shaming culture that
Yes.
was probably poisoning all of our brains.
Yes.
And Scary Movie, penis size shaming. Yeah.
What did they say?
Remember in Scary Movie, there's like the whole thing with the guy, and you see the photo of the guy's dick, and it's like Photoshop tiny.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It's really brutal.
God, yeah.
People-
Being a
sometimes
kid back then.
when you watch movies from those times, it is shocking.
Oh, it's
to
crazy.
go back and be like,
nothing
Shocking
would
even
fly.
for people who live through it. Like I think
you're like,
I think
what?
one of the things when people like get super offended about something a couple years ago, they haven't lived a long enough life to be like, trust us, guys. In 10 years, you'll look back at what you thought was funny, and you will be horrified.
Oh yeah.
and it'll be stuff that you thought like in your head that you liked, and then be like and you would like tell people it was your favorite movie when you were a kid,
Ace
and then
Ventura.
you're like watching it and being
Uh-huh.
like, oh my god, this was so mean about me that and you're watching
Talk
it.
about
you know,
early
like-
tucking. Early tucking. They talk
Oh,
about it in
dude.
the documentary on Netflix. I forget what it's called, but it's kind of about like how trans people are used as actors and representing the media, and they talk about Ace Ventura.
That horrible
and Ace
scene.
Ventura, maybe the first or the second.
First one.
First, he kisses a woman, finds out that she used to be a man, and there is a long montage of him
Throwing up.
taking a mop to his teeth and throwing up.
Oh
and, like,
yeah.
and then at the end, he reveals her to have a penis, and there's right.
Yeah, he
there's a moment he literally pulls down,
shows her
skirt, and there's the outline of a penis on like the back. If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
I remember it so much that I was so young when I first saw it. I thought it was like she shit herself. Like I didn't fully put all the pieces together.
Yeah,
literally same. I remember exactly, and I had the same thought when I was a kid. Yeah. There was like a lot, even like movies like Zoolander. You're right, like Zoolander. Like I used to love that movie, and I watched it sometime in the last like year and a half, and I was like, this is so offensive and terrible. Like, like these jokes would never fly now.
And some stuff feels some stuff I go that's still funny, and some you go, oh, that's so mean.
It's just so mean. It'll be like the fat stuff. I've talked about it on the podcast already, but like my friend and I watched The Clumps, one of the Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
And I was like, we watched like 10 minutes of it, and I was like, okay, like that man.
Get it? He's fat.
He's fat. He's really fat, but he couldn't do anything in his life. He was closing colleges. He was like, he was ruining.
Closing colleges.
He was ruining a whole town because he was so fat. And
I mean, it happens.
You're like, actually, that one's real. That one is real.
But
the truth hurts.
I just remember once I was in the bathroom, and I was like, I had this thing of like, oh, maybe I could shave my ass or wax my whole ass, which like looking back, you're like, and then what you look like. I saw one of those chimpanzees at the zoo
I'm
where
gay.
they're
I've done it. Of course, I've done it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just remember taking a Mach 3, my regular face razor, and
no.
I went through and I would just go back, and it'd be one of those things where I was like, I went through three fucking blades,
never ending, just like.
And just never ending.
And your
just
skin
like,
and your skin never recovered, or at least it felt that way, right? Surely.
It's almost there now. It's almost back.
And then what? Where did you decide to start?
Well, that's the part I wasn't like thinking
like
of.
The
it would
hair
just
all
be
the
like
way to the legs and then clear butt.
It'd be like a dirty window, and you just
right. Are you skilled enough to fade it?
No.
Is there a hard line?
No. It's a disaster.
And who was it for? Who was seeing your butt at the time?
It's true. I don't
all
know.
Just to be like.
I think it was
not
probably
that you needed to have someone seeing
I was
it.
probably hooking up with some, but this was before anyone was seeing me naked. But I think I really, your head, you're like, one day I hope someone wants to see I'll be naked.
Yeah.
And I thought people would be.
I gotta be prepped for it.
Disgusted by it.
Yeah.
I don't know where I got it from. I truly
well,
was like,
I think we are all like, especially back then, a couple decades ago, growing up, we were taught to like. No matter what was going on, we were taught to hate our bodies.
Sure. So,
like, seriously, in so many different ways, sexually, just physically in general. But,
so you've shaved the full ass.
You know what I've done? Yes, but I've actually from the whole waist down been sugared. Do you know what that is?
No.
Sugaring is, and I went to like a place. My roommate suggested it. It was this place in Hell's Kitchen. Sugaring is where they get like, it's like, I think. Like it's like waxing, but it's instead of wax, it's like a molten kind of like ball of like sugar, like hot, like it's brown, like it's like when you burn sugar and they just roll it around and kind of like and until it collects enough hair, then they get like a new piece. But
it's not as painful as waxing.
Oh, it is so painful, and I did it in mind. You know what I did? I got in really good shape a few years ago, and it got to the point where I was like, "Ooh, I felt so pussy that I wanted to like not wear pads." And I told you I wear all these tights in drag. I was like, so I wanted to be hairless. I wanted to like, I wanted to be able to tape my tuck. That was the plan. I couldn't do it because my skin was so fucking ravaged after I did this. I was like nearly in tears. Mind you, I'm on like all fours, like arched back with this like fucking old fucking faggot behind me, like just living. And I absolutely could not take the pain anymore. I don't think I was able to finish. But then I was like, wow, this is actually so beautiful. My skin, I was like, this is a few days passed, the hair starts to grow in. For weeks, it was almost like I couldn't walk some days. It was so painful. And the whole thing with sugaring is like, it's the benefit is that you're supposed to, your skin actually is, unlike shaving and waxing, your skin is able to recover. And no matter how moisturized I kept it, it was like so awful. Hair removal, I mean, it's just it's not meant for some of us.
I could never. I could never put on tights. I do ballet sometimes. I put on tights, and the way that
You
my
do ballet
skin,
sometimes?
No, I when I did musical theater, I went to musical theater college.
But that was current. That was a.
I took a ballet class a couple months ago. and
Did you really?
I did.
I would take a ballet class with you.
I would love to. It was when I did ballet in college. I wasn't like, I'm in much better shape now, and so it's fun because I go back and I'm like, oh, I can kind of do that thing now.
Sure.
Of course, I couldn't do that before. But wearing tights, my skin would itch. I could never.
That's
put up with
interesting.
It. Oh, I have sensitive skin, but like it itches so bad.
Tights don't do that for me, or many other of the ladies with leg hair. I would say.
I truly.
That's
I
not a
think
common.
I think it stopped me from the profession.
Wow.
That's the only thing standing in the way.
When I listen to music, I've said this before. When I listen to music, I imagine myself singing it as a woman.
Okay.
That's how I experience music.
Okay.
And so definitely the lip sync or just the singing element of drag, it's like, oh, when I sing, what I'd want to do. And unfortunately, I don't have the range
What if
for
it's
it.
a man singing the song? Do you still picture yourself?
I love that you're
woman
laughing.
singing?
That wasn't a joke. I'm
No.
dying to know. This is like.
I'm being genuine.
Yeah, like seriously.
No. I am whatever the song is, but like the kind of real belty shit that I love, especially musical theater, is like a woman belting.
Your pussy's on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it.
I listen to Six the Musical, and I am fully imagining as a woman singing,
Okay.
just wailing. So Six.
Of course.
Just
in the sort
no,
of
no,
thing.
no, 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 no way.
There's
No way.
I think that you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I don't.
Oh,
God
so
knows
and then
what
I
was
and then
gonna
who
say.
knows where I came from? What were you gonna say?
Do you know Six?
I don't. But
There's a song where she's talking about how
You'd be great in
every guy just wants to fuck her, and then she meets this. She ends up going with the king. She's gross, and then meets like one of his courts people, and he actually understands her and knows her, and then she finds out, oh my god, he just wanted to fuck me too. And like there is something in me where she like realized, and she's like, yeah, well then fuck you. Ugh.
I think Gianmarco, you're not afraid of femininity, of your femininity, and I think that like in those, there's so much like kind of like divine empowerment in performances like that, where with women, whether it's like physically or just vocally, I guess that's the same thing, but physically, like lip syncing wise, I just think like that's like so cool that you feel kind of called to that. I don't know. I wish more like straight men would like give into that, because it's like so fucking real. It's so real.
I think
it's empowering.
I think it's empowering. It's dependent on a couple of things. First, you have to have. I do sometimes think there's some women who are turned off by it, or culturally are turned off by it. And you just have to feel like you can be that and still be a straight guy. I think just straight guys are scared.
Yeah.
That the moment they
it's
enter
not about can be. It's that you are.
Sure.
If you like that, then you like that. So it's just fucking not giving a shit what anyone thinks, which I think is so rad.
You know those traditions. So like sometimes I think those things that might be considered dated of like, and then the football players, they dress up like cheerleaders,
Yeah.
and in a way like it would be, some circles would criticize it as like either transphobic or mocking, whatever. Sometimes I go, that is a version of exploring your femininity in a way that like culturally you might not be able to. So you're doing it as a gag at the football team, but you are putting on a dress and you get to like move in a way you didn't before. And it's like those sometimes problematic traditions, I do think give space for people to actually be a little more feminine.
Experiment, yeah.
When my dad, he had to take Xanax or something, he broke his wrist, and he's high out of his mind, and he loves heels. He's a legs guy, and he loves heels, and wants to buy a woman heels, and he's just high out of his mind. He goes like, I'd look good in a pair of heels. I think I'd look, and he starts expressing like how
So it's
he
not just
feel
about
wearing.
I love that.
sexual
I love
thing
it.
for the legs. Like it's like
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, there's I mean, that's, I think 90% of being a straight man is just like giving into the fear of your own femininity.
Yeah.
Trust me, I tried it. It's like it's crazy. Again, it's one of those things where you're kind of taught shame. And it's just, it's like it's bullshit. I admire that you don't give into that. I think it's really fucking lit.
Oh, that's
Russell, take notes.
Russell, loosen up,
Well,
babies.
I don't go into the empowered thing. I identify my femininity in mean women.
You know what's so
Channel.
funny? Wait, that's so funny because I mean, obviously, I have several ways, but that's one of mine too.
Yeah.
I love angry women.
Tell me some.
Do you know what I mean?
Like Patty LuPone?
Patty LuPone is
an angry woman.
sometimes an angry woman.
Okay, who's an angry woman you like?
I'm just trying to think because I do feel like with like Ruth in Titanic, it's
Yeah.
like, there's like that's a very comfortable area for me.
The
to
woman
be
you
in.
admire is yourself?
No, I'm just.
but
saying,
the way- no,
I'm just
but you
saying,
know
like,
what?
I'm trying
That's
to
the
think
legacy.
Your Ruth is so feminine.
Yeah.
Is so and it's so natural, and I mean when I saw you perform that before I met you or got to know you, and I thought you were gay because of how seamless that was, because of how womanly you were.
Yeah.
You know, there's but I get, so similarly like kudos to you for being able to like cross into that and to find joy in it, because obviously you do find joy in it.
I love it.
Were you tucking for Ruth?
I only on 2 show days. Can you imagine me in my pants?
Which
like,
makes no
totally
sense.
unnecessary. Just like, sorry guys.
You walking around, anyone
Sorry.
notice anything?
I'm
Anyone notice anything?
But that's also insane because when you tuck, you can't piss.
Yeah, oh,
so
yeah.
on a 2 show day, when you're probably gonna have to piss. That's when you decide to do it.
Wait, would you be able? Would it go through and just go out the back?
No, you have to.
Go out the back. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
You imagine you go to the urinals, everyone's standing the opposite.
stupid question.
No, you have to untuck to piss.
Oh
and-
God, that's even worse. My God,
Which is why taping. It's kind of like once you're in, you're in. Now
I must imagine you must like. There must be times where if a gig is like canceled or something, you've done all this work. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know what I mean. But like, it's so much work, and to do that, you're also like, am I gonna go do this 15-minute gig for all the work that it entails, or if you, God forbid, it gets canceled, and then it's like, fuck me, all the money and time. It's just like not a casual thing. It's not like I'm gonna go do my improv show. And you're gonna pop on,
yeah.
You know, or we're gonna like talk about.
Wait,
the
you haven't been
podcast.
tucking before improv shows?
I want you to start.
That should be an improv team where the whole thing is you have no reason to know this, but you have to trust it. Everyone on stage is tucked right now. They're all wearing pants. So I saw on your on your Instagram at the beginning of this year about
I was there.
kind of an evolution or like an expansion or a what did you pussy pop and burn?
No, I refer to it as just a new. I refer to it as a new era. And a lot of, when I released that information at the top of the year, I accompanied it with imagery of me presenting very masculine. It was kind of like the kind of debut of the I mean, I had a mustache, but it was like me really embracing it artistically. And a lot of people thought that I was quitting drag. I mentioned that I had decided to lead with music, as I had found like a lot of missing joy in creating music like I used to in the 6 months prior. But really, as the months have passed by and as I've like begun to like really miss drag, it, like even the way that I was doing it, that I realized that like what this new era really signifies and is just an era of artistic release and content creation again, because I took some time off from just kind of like producing stuff. More so releasing stuff, artists are always creating shit, but actually putting it out, sending it out into the world, I like stopped doing that for a while. And so it was just a lot of behind the scenes work, especially last year, that got me to a place where I was like, you know what, I'm ready to like dive back in and like dive really deep. Like, let's go, let's go hard. So that's what this is. And it's, it's been busy this year. It's been busy this year creating again. And it's been nice.
It's talking about making music. I have 2 friends that we've been writing music for 8 years, and and we had our first ever performance last month, and it was so nerve-wracking. In a way that, like, you know, we do Uncle Function shows, sketch shows, I do the podcast, Titanic, in a way that, unlike any of those things, to release music that you've written feels so scary, like, and put it out in the world. And because it also, I found that I don't like, because so much of the stuff I do is comedy. I don't like comedic songs. I don't like parody songs. I don't like anytime, like, there's things I love. Like, there's obviously, like, I love a lot of the things that Lonely Island did and whatnot. But sometimes I listen and I'm like, that's never anything I would revisit.
It's not for you. It's not for you to do.
It's not for me to revisit, and I'm not interested in doing it. But I think that there's a safety almost in, like, if I was making jokey songs, I would feel a little more safe.
If people laugh, joke. You go, "Oh, that worked. That's good."
But like putting something that's just like, this is just genuinely what I'm thinking and feeling.
You know what it is?
So scary
because we share this, comedians, drag artists, actors. It's, you know, there is a thick layer of comedy through almost everything we do, if not as the foundation. And music nearly all of the time, or in a specific instance like you're describing, or like how I've been kind of expressing myself, that you take the comedy out of it for the most part. It's taking yourself really seriously, and not taking the piss, and not and you don't get to you know, kind of review how the audience is ingesting stuff, because you're not getting laughs. You know, and people like to listen instead of you know, respond vocally back to you. So it can be really nerve-wracking, but I can imagine it especially so with an 8-year build-up with no performances.
No. And it's also this thing of, like, it's like doing it is like not, I think that there's another part of it for me too, is like, it's for me, it's like not like now I'm transitioning into being a recording artist. It's more of like, I love doing this with my friends, and we're going to keep doing it and find other venues, and hopefully next time it's a bigger venue. We did a really small, like, limited thing for family and friends. But it really is like, because it feels so intimate and feels so.
It can be weirder to watch personally. Like, I could see Russell do comedy any day. But, like, the part of Titanic that I think, like, as a friend, I felt a weird, like, stop it, Russell, was him coming out at the beginning, and he's just someone visiting the Titanic Museum. And it's like the earnestness with which he was, and this is just about knowing him, but, like, the earnestness of, like, wow, look at this. And I'm just like, stop it, stop putting this on. It felt even more vulnerable to witness as a friend, even if that's not like you weeping or anything, but there's earnestness as opposed to, like, comedy. That's the language I understand.
To remark on that being a vulnerable piece of theater, that scene,
that
is
moment,
truly mentally ill.
But that's what I mean. Him, you too. If you saw me come out and I was like, wow, Titanic.
That's not how it goes.
But I feel that, for sure.
I know what you mean.
Do you? Are there any lyrics like what are you trying to do? It's so especially, by the way, not even I don't think you did this in the show, being sexual and vulnerable.
That's what I was going to say.
My
Seeing
God,
the clip of you and Connie as friends of both of you,
and you said you were laughing the whole time, right?
I was like, this is so, it made me so like, what are you two doing?
Maybe so what?
Like, just seeing two friends. Like, if I shot a music video with me and Jessica Fry rolling around, kissing like
Russell,
that.
you don't want to know what I do with that music video.
I think that's a piece of drag. It's definitely sex is like a heavy you know, section of what my drag is. Even when it's silly, but
this isn't drag.
I mean, you know, drag is there is.
I know you're born drag, but
but this isn't like typical drag. This is not my, like, home base of drag, sure.
How do you?
Was
there any part of you have to be like? Does any part of you go like, oh, I'm not? You have to be so open to, like, really be sexual.
You have to be really confident, and a lot of that for me. I mean, I'm quite a confident person, but a lot of, like, nudity, especially for me, like, that I have to really psych myself up to. And by nudity, I mean, like, even like taking my shirt off in front of a camera. Like, I have to really be like, all right, you are the shit. Like, you look amazing. You can fucking do this. And but I think that's, with writing music as well. It's like, I in this body of work that we're watching here that I released earlier this year, it was like the songs are either reflecting on like real emotions that are it's wrong to say negative emotions, but undesirable emotions.
Sure,
sadness and anger, things that we don't necessarily want to be feeling. Like delving into that and writing about my experience with that, but also writing like confidence anthems that are not necessarily a reflection of me, but just the way that I'm trying to psych myself up to feel.
Yeah.
Like I wrote a song on this called "No Practice." The opening line is "I'm perfect, no practice." That is not about me, sweetie. But like, but I like to believe that it is, so that I can go out on stage and like sing this and be like, okay, this is the space that I'm setting up for myself to feel this way. And a lot of it is false.
Can you like I can't talk to myself in that way and believe it. Like in a version of like I'm perfect. Like I can go like my version is like honestly feels more like a masculine leaning of just like come on. Here we go. Like it's like kind of a fighter thing when I'm going on stage.
Mine's like, try, little boy, and hopefully it's okay.
Really? Is that real? Is that the real tone that you talk to yourself in?
I think so.
What is that though? What did you just do?
No, I was making up a song, but that's
you're
like,
talking to your inner child though?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating.
I feel like
and you sing to yourself?
No. I was just.
Can you imagine that anthem, but you're dressed like this? And it's
but
like,
I do think that there's a little
boy.
thing of like being like, I think sometimes when you remember being a kid, and you're like, you would look and be like, oh, I didn't do any of the things or blah blah blah. But then in another way, you're like, you've done a lot, and it would have been crazy for you to think about certain things happening, and that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it's easier for me to talk to that person than to current me. Does that make sense?
Which is like too critical, like as the kid, it's
or
like
just being
hey,
like you need a little time to fully know how you're doing, and it's always been like better.
I think God, I wish you go to therapy. That's so fascinating. I just think that the way we view like talking ourselves up is very different.
Yeah,
that you're talking to an inner child.
Sometimes I'm talking to myself and just being like, oh, you should feel good about this,
Try, middle-aged man. You got to do this, middle-aged man. That dog surgery cost $20,000, you middle-aged man.
Oh my God.
Wow. I love that. And I just love the way that even different music genres kind of speak to that. I feel like a lot of what I've heard of Roostabon, like it has that reflection of that LCD Sound System house where it's a lot talking about like the past and like different phases of your life.
Yeah.
And like
a lot of my
stuff
stuff is about, probably just because you're like, that's when you're like dealing with most anxiety, you don't know how to verbalize it, is talking about middle school. Like
really?
In a way of like reflecting back on like.
We've talked about middle school quite a lot today, actually.
Yeah.
Inadvertently.
Yeah.
It's like that's a big area of like, you're launched out of elementary school, you're not in high school yet, and it's like things are starting to happen. It's scary. And I moved then too. I started a new school. So I feel like a lot of my like that kind of like trying to fit in kind of thing.
See, and that's why I gravitate towards comedy, because I go like, I don't know what the song version of like your ass is really hairy, but that's okay. So I make comedy about it, about having hairy ass. I don't think I could make a song of like, damn, you keep coming too quickly. It's like, oh, I can joke about it.
Leave it to me. I'm on it.
I've only written a handful of songs. I feel like it's never I'm never like thinking like I'm going to write a song about this. It's like just something happens and then you're like, oh, this is what it kind of is.
We still have a little more time. This has got to stop, so we can do it. I want to not rush them.
Yeah, don't rush them.
But we're going to go into them. Oh, you don't rush into them.
Yeah, don't rush into
them. By the way,
them.
let's just if you're a listener, join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. You're going to see there's a part of the documentary where Russell sings, and it's another childhood thing that
when? What?
It's
Where's
I'm going to tell you, and you're going to like go like, please take that out.
Oh God, what's it from though?
You were jerking off and you said, I don't care who sees me. None of you are leaving the screen.
Tell me, when was I singing in that? When was that film?
We were in the Waymo.
Oh yeah, no, I knew
There's
there
a
was
really
camera
there's a
on
really
me.
beautiful moment where Russell's saying, I think he remember the song when he would leave Disney World.
Oh yeah.
I
can talk about that here. I don't
he
care.
would sing to himself. Wait, let me see if I can do it. Don't do it.
Okay.
Oh shit! Come on, Gianmarco. Disney. Give me the words. First word.
It's sad.
Keep more words.
There's
I
like
remember
5
it.
words.
I know.
It's sad to say goodbye.
I forget it.
Okay.
Oh, that's sweet.
Give me the first note and I'll do it. I
My
want to
brother-
remember it. I
My
loved
brother
it
and
so
I
much.
would always sing it, and it was like a joke, but it wasn't a joke. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would be like, "It's sad to say goodbye."
Goodbye to Disney.
Yeah.
It's sad to say goodbye. Goodbye to Disney.
We
I'm
would-
imagining myself
we
as a woman singing
we
that
would
right now. Hard to say goodbye.
At Carnegie Hall.
It's sad to say goodbye. Goodbye to Disney. It's sad to
And we
say
would sing it when
goodbye.
we leave Disney World.
And he
My,
would-
my favorite song from Six.
Is that?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But now I do it.
Goodbye
in
to my head.
If I'm like something actually sad as ending, like if I'm like I'm done with something or I'm leaving a place I love.
Do you think about it? Like, do you like catch yourself, or is this like just like
It's like kind of like it comes
a
off
silent
it
habit.
comes off in, no, I don't sing it out loud, but it comes off in my head, and it's like a funny thing, but it also is I'm genuinely feeling sad about ending something.
yeah?
You know.
Speaking of childhood trauma, I called my dad yesterday, and he's always getting some new medical test, just in general. I don't know what's hypochondria. I don't know what's not. It's impossible to tell. And he goes, "Oh, did that test come back you were talking about last week?" "Yeah, I have cancer." "Oh my God, Dad. So what's the next steps?" "Well, I'm going in for another test this week that would determine if I do have cancer." And I go,
Oh my God, sir.
This is why I can't function. This is why I worried that I had a hernia this weekend, and I can't stop thinking about it. And I go, of course.
Yeah.
Because I come from this fucking psychopath. He said, I have cancer. And then, not right away, maybe 2 minutes later said, and then the test will decide if there is traces of cancer to be dealt with.
God.
And bad.
My dad is similar in a way. He has never ever claimed his rightful age. He will always my whole life he's rounded up. He's like dying to
Die.
He's dying.
He's rounded up.
Like by what? By a year or like by the next?
Sometimes
nearest,
it's
like,
a year
hole?
or two. Sometimes it's
He's like
it's
64.
up.
He's like I'm 70.
Yes, that's a good example.
64 to 70?
Uh-huh.
Why would he do that?
I don't know. I think maybe part of it is just trying to be, well, it doesn't make any sense, but trying to be realistic about his age and his health, embracing getting older. But that doesn't make much sense.
I do find myself. This has got to stop for me. Is when people age themselves in a way, especially you'll be talking to someone that's like 34, and they're like, "I'm so old now," blah blah blah. And you're like, no, you're not. Stop.
There is on the current season airing right now of RuPaul's Drag Race. Everybody is fucking 20 fucking years old, which is like that's not uncommon.
Yeah,
that's not uncommon. It's
Yeah.
cool to come out early. The kids are doing drag young these days, but the oldest cast member is 33, and they call her grandma. There's so much of a storyline happening where it's like well, when you get to my age, and like, okay, well, mom, and it's both harrowing and hysterical that they are treating 33 years old as this kind of like old age. It's
but I often find it comes from the individual. A lot of times when I'm talking to people, like if I have a friend or something that's doing it, I'm like, you're just gonna do this for the rest of your life now? You've been old since 31, so you're gonna be 80. Like you're gonna. There's 60, 70 more years
Maybe
of
that's why
being
your dad's
old?
doing it, where he goes, the numbers bother him. They bother him in
Yeah.
some way.
Yeah.
So he goes, fuck, I'm 80. No, you're 74.
That sounds right. I also think there might be like a yearning to have been through it all.
Yeah.
I've seen it all. I've like a call to wisdom with and not to say that my dad's not wise, but maybe trying to accrue more than has already happened.
I don't
Yeah.
love
Accrue? Who the fuck am I? Work.
I don't love being 36. I don't like the feeling of saying 30.
But are you excited about 40?
There's a part of me that's excited about it. There is.
I feel weird about turning 36 this year, but I'm very excited for my 40s. If my shit is more together than it is now. If my shit is like kind of fearsome, I can't wait for my 40s.
Yeah, I gotta figure out a lot of things in the next month.
But don't we? Wait, how old are you?
I gotta get that second Broadway credit. I gotta what am I gonna do? I gotta figure this out.
Oh wait, how old are you?
I'm about to be 40.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But not even 40. Like I'm, like 40s. I'm talking like a whole decade here.
Just if you want us to take this blanket off so you can put it on your lap, keep yourself warm.
No, it is crazy because sometimes you're like you just feel this way you always felt, and then you'll you'll sometimes see someone you haven't seen in a while, or someone just is introduced and they're the same age as you, and you're like, is that me? Like you're like, am I this old person that I'm seeing across from me?
Sure.
Anyways, it's crazy.
Well, and also,
should I stop my age jokes with you once you hit that? Is it not going to be funny anymore when I'm trying to exaggerate?
Oh
when
no,
because
I don't
on
mind
the money?
because I don't feel old, and I don't take any.
don't
of
you
that
feel like when you do meet someone or become aware of someone's age who is like very close or the same age as you, it sometimes is shocking because entertainers and artists, we are way more youthful.
Yes.
Yeah.
The brains are like,
yeah.
You're like,
you know what I
you're
mean?
just talking, yeah, and it really is. That's what it is.
And
I think it's scary to
we
see
don't give
someone-
it. We struggle longer. We you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
we don't settle like
Yes.
and decide our life younger like on in life. Usually,
Yeah.
it takes us more time to.
I think it's
to get somewhere.
It's more scary though when you see someone in their 50s or older, and they're still behaving with the level of artistic insecurity that I would have had like in my mid 20s.
Yeah, terrifying.
And just being like,
that's true.
being like, oh brother, you're still like you're mad because of this, and it's,
Yeah.
Ugh.
What
The
do you
need
think
for-
about? What do you think about this? And you're like, well, no, just know it. You're old enough to know it. Like,
Or this, they go that audience was like really tight out there, and I'm like, who cares? You have 3 kids. Go home.
Remember the kids? The guy with the kids?
oh my god, that guy with the kids. Yeah.
Oh my god.
There was a guy with the kids at the party.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how old were the kids?
I mean, they're like varying
There's
ages, but
multiple kids.
we had a discussion about parenting because we were like, what is the
The drag queens didn't read to them, did they?
Oh, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Did you see Bob the drag queen? That's someone you should have on this podcast.
I
want
want
to.
to. Okay, can you make the connection?
I can try.
Bob, there's no way they remember. There was a long time ago I put an R. Kelly joke on TikTok, and they stitched it together, kind of where my opening setup line, and it went to them, and they were like, no. And
Oh, shit.
I got dragged on TikTok so hard,
yeah.
Fuck.
and that's fine. That's fine because the joke ended up doing well in person. It's all fine,
Yeah.
but
Let's not
hopefully
be 50
they're fun
here.
enough that I can bring it up
Yeah.
because I can't not.
No, you'd
No,
have
I
to
think
bring it up.
I can't
if
not.
if you ever have a chance to discuss with Bob, especially like in a like public setting, like Bob is like I think like always down to kind of like address and revisit.
Have you
Because
ever
I know
got-
Bob from the persona, I'm so scared that Bob would meet me and go, I hate you. I always think that anyone who I see as like cool is going to hate me right out the gate.
Have you ever gotten in a public feud?
Public feud?
Yeah.
No. LOL. No, not really. Or no.
What happened with that drag queen who died and someone tweeted something horrifyingly mean? What was that?
Are you like making up a scenario of commenting on me being in a feud, or is this something that happened?
No, something that happened.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
Oh, there's like a small handful, I'll say, of like really fucking mentally ill bitches from RuPaul's Drag Race seasons years past who like try it on Twitter. Who
It was like something
who really
about their
are digging
ashes,
graves.
like I was.
I
something.
don't remember. I think I know what you're talking
It
about.
was-
And I don't want
it
to
was
say any names,
real-
but there's some really distasteful. There was one thing that happened in the last few months where even RuPaul commented by like sharing like
I think that's what this was.
a meme like video clip on her
Of
Instagram
slapping them. Yes, that's
Yes.
what I'm talking about. It
Yes.
was, but I think it was like, oh, this is the edgelord version of like
drag.
the drag. Like, with comedy, there's some comics who just go like, fuck everyone, burn it to the ground, and it was that.
Well, but if a well-known and especially a beloved comic dies, you don't that week make a joke.
I don't know if that's true with comedy.
Oh shit.
I can think of several comedians who, when they die,
But wouldn't it be so problematic and like probably in this day and age like not the best idea?
Well, let me say this. A lot of them would be really good jokes, and it would make it better.
It's a little different with comics because it's the whole thing, you know.
We exist in that space. When the queen dies, we're right on it, you know. So
right. Well, but then there's a way to do it, and there's experience.
There's a way to do it,
and you're professionals.
Yeah.
When comedy is not when communication is not even and likability is not in your bag, it's probably best to keep your little fucking fingers away.
But
from
also,
the keyboard.
we're more fractured. I think that is another difference. Is like, as you said, there are a couple RuPaul bitches. There's a RuPaul community.
That's
Comedy
what we're called now, RuPaul bitches.
But there's Joe Rogan bitches. There's
sure.
a lot of Joe Rogan bitches.
TTT.
And you know, who knows? Maybe one day we'll get to a place there'll be some downside bitches.
I hope so. Join the Patreon.
Let's go into This Has Got to Stop.
This has gotta stop.
Russell, was that your This Has Got to Stop?
Yeah, but I have one more. This has got to stop. When people post a photo and it's just like of their significant other or their baby and it says my everything, I think that that's beautiful, but I also think that it makes me want you to have other things, you know, in your world, because it can't be your everything. What happens if a train takes away both of them and then that's your everything, you know?
My God, that's so specific and evil.
No, I'm just saying.
Well, you're going to post a picture of Nicole and go, my 60%.
A lot of things, but I need other things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there is some.
It is a lot because you go, wait a second. Then why do you keep going to
pressure
work?
on them?
Why do you keep leaving the house?
It's too much pressure
on
them.
the kids.
Yeah, to be your everything. Yeah, because they're gonna grow up and be their own person. And
it's a lie too, though, because they're not your everything. You probably some nights don't read a bedtime story because you get drunk with your friends at a strip club. It's not true.
I think
it's an exaggeration.
Anytime it's my everything, my entire world. I get it. Ultimately, I'm not mad. It's not mad. This is not a mad. This gotta stop. It's just it makes me, I don't know. It makes me very existential when I see it. I'm like, oh, do you have other things in your life? What happens if something gets taken from you? And this is your everything. This is your world. It just makes me think about death anytime I see it. And I think that that's what ultimately I want it to stop. I'm glad you love your families. People should love their families. That's great. But I am going to think about death if you say that those people in that photo are your everything.
Is this an instance where in your head you would think, it's so sad?
It's sad to say goodbye.
Goodbye to your family.
Goodbye to your kids. By means of train, keep in mind.
I don't know. I'm trying not to be an asshole. I'm just saying.
Is it one of the Disneyland trains hitting them? Like
those are trams, and then this is, I guess it's like Space Mountain.
I went to the zoo and there was trams there, but all the conductors were like old men, and one I wondered if they actually were conductors. Whether if they made a real conductor, how long do they talk to them before they admit they're actually a conductor of a kids train at a zoo?
Yeah.
I thought, has anyone ever died in this train? I thought about the kids train like to Auschwitz. Like, would there be that version of it?
Oh my God.
Like a cute, fun, colorful version. And then I thought all the conductors were like men. And I'm like, is this like an industry that no woman can break into? Is the zoo tram conductor?
Oh, I've
service.
seen female conductors.
And then the train ride is over, and you have seen zero animals.
Yeah,
you're paying no attention.
You just had all those intrusive
to the safari.
Yeah.
We should write down.
I got off, and they said
spend a day writing down all the intrusive thoughts we have. One time, can I say something?
Go to therapy. Russell's like, we should all do this. Like, we should all like.
Why? So I'm
try
just
to
going to
speak
say
to our
mean
unconscious.
things to it, like things that come in. I oftentimes have a thought of what's the craziest thing I could say right now in a setting that would like really upset the most people in the room.
Say it.
No, I'm just saying. That will pop into my head. I don't always have an answer for it. Sometimes my brain tries to find an answer for it. But
next time we're alone together, I want you to, when you have that thought, I want you to say it out loud.
Oh my God. Okay.
I hope it's today. I hope it's now.
We're having a writing session after this. We'll see what he says, and I'll say, don't you ever say that again about my writing abilities. My This Has Got to Stop. Showbiz literacy needs to be covered in school just for one class. It doesn't have to be a whole subject. People don't understand how show business works, like in the grandest sense, and it allows them to construct conspiracy theories. I have a friend, Skylar Higley, who wrote for Conan O'Brien for the Oscars. I talked about this once. He wrote the joke about Conan goes out and goes, well, it's halfway through the show, so which means it's time for me to say Drake's a pedophile or something. He basically calling back to Kendrick Lamar, and people were like, oh, this is a deep state thing to make the word pedophile less bad, and then it'll excuse all the pedophiles who are running Hollywood or whatever. And I go, I know the guy who wrote the joke. He just thought it was a funny thought and submitted it. Furthermore, they go like Morgan, what's his name, Wallen? Mm-hmm. He was on SNL and he left abruptly and then shared a tweet that said, going back to God's country. And they're like, yeah, he showed those SNL people what's what. And I'm like, he agreed to do the fucking show. His agent said, do you want to do SNL? And he said, oh, it's going to fuck up my weekend, but I would still love to. And they act like he somehow showed him what's what by doing the show and signing. So they don't understand that he doesn't have to do SNL as some weird thing. He wanted to do it, and they hired him, and they gave him money, and he showed up. And they also do this where an agency dropped an actor, and people said, what agency is it? So I can know to avoid any work their clients are in. Listeners, the agency was UTA. You can't turn on the TV if that's what you want to avoid. There is a not understanding of like how the business works that allows people to believe the narrative of like all these people are out against each other. You know what footage would be damning? It's not the picture of whoever with Epstein Island. It would be the green room of all these people who ideologically disagree with eating fruit together and kind of gossiping. That's the fact of it. Yeah. And I just think, other than wanting people to understand show business so I can have a conversation with my father that doesn't begin with what the difference between a manager and an agent is for the 10th fucking time that day, it's also because it contributes to conspiracy theory thinking when people don't understand how things kind of generally work in the world. Then they go, the Jews run Hollywood. And it's like, no, CAA, WME, UTA, 3 separate groups of Jews are running Hollywood. So that's my This Gotta Stop. Yeah. This Gotta Stop.
Interesting that your This Gotta Stop was people understanding Hollywood and not the pedophile rings. But interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've already done a bit. They're not all pedophiles. There's a hebophile and a ephebophile.
Yeah.
I have This Is Gotta Stop. Mine is, surely someone said this before, but people need to stop self-diagnosing with mental illness. I have so many friends who think they have the 2 big ones are ADHD and autism. I surely not every single one of my friends is autistic. Like surely that's not true. But like they are, and it's all we fucking talk about. It's all we fucking talk about. And that's the other thing too is that.
But are they getting diagnosed or no?
They're very talkative, given that they're all on the spectrum.
Right. Obviously, like some people, like of course, if not many people, and there are people who actually, but so much mental illness is just like self-proclaimed, and like because I mean it's the WebMD structure of life. Like we look online, and of course we fit so many.
And the definitions sometimes can be, these definitions are ultimately like approximations of behavior. It's like people constructed it. It's newish.
Right.
It's a little bit loose. Could you have mild OCD? But if it means you check the doorknob sometimes, is it worth saying out loud?
Right.
Are you sometimes you don't want to make eye contact? Once in a while, makes you feel a little strange and tickly inside. Does that mean? I don't know, but no need to claim it,
and no need to make it your entire personality, especially if it hasn't been done. I did a show, and this is no shade to one of my best friends, but we did a drag show last week, and she kept mentioning on the mic, as a joke, she was referring to the fact that she's like almost positive she's autistic, but it became like a constant running joke through, and it was great because I was able to it just became like a theme of the show, and at the end of the show I was like, I don't think you're actually autistic, so like this is like kind of fucking crazy. I noticed that a lot. I notice a lot of that, especially again with autism and ADHD. People are dying to be autistic.
Well, it's almost like a way for people to be like, here's my not excuse,
no,
but here's like
there is something wrong with me.
There's something wrong with me,
and that's why.
And this is a quick kind of answer to it, rather than like
It's an explanation.
really getting into maybe what's going on.
Yeah.
And like also like
That's a very
sometimes
real
we
thing.
don't want to talk to people. That's fine, you know.
Also, it is kind of
But
funny.
it doesn't always have to be a reason.
That like the anti-vax conservative side, like they're desperately they're anti-vaccine or scared of vaccines because they're like, I don't want my kid to be autistic. And then everyone on the liberal side is saying, we'll be right there. And then everyone on the liberal side is saying, oh, I'm autistic too. And all the liberals are the ones getting vaccinated. That's not going to help with the narrative at all. I also think there's a strange thing. Can you pause that real quick? Just while we've been.
Someone is in a
Maybe
fucking,
we do need a podcast studio.
a fucking hurry.
You got no hair on that ass. I also think there's a weird thing where like if I'm at a show and there's young people there and I say like I have or I'm anxious or I have like anxiety, not even like a diagnosis way, the way that everyone goes like, woo, anxiety, and I'm like, it's not a good thing.
Right.
I'm not like, yeah, I got anxiety. I'm like, I get stressed sometimes and I have to figure out how to deal with it. But the way that people are excited to get to identify with the thing, it's a weird kind of bastardization of what caring about mental health
It's a new
became.
thing. It's a new thing because we were raised in our generation. I think was probably the last. But we were raised to not talk about those things, and it's great that we do talk about them now, and that we do feel seen, and that there's community in mental illness because it's a very real thing. But I do think it has gotten to it's getting to a point where again it's just like we're calling false shots. I mean, I have a psychiatrist, and I remember I was so convinced that I'm bipolar, and I kept referring to it. This is a couple years ago. I was like, I really think I'm bipolar, and eventually he essentially was like, you are not bipolar. You're just an asshole, and you need to there's things in your life that you should address, and yes, you have a bad temper sometimes, but that's the thing. I was so convinced. We're dying to think that something is wrong with us in order to like you said, explain an excuse at times for
and that's the same
bad
with anxiety,
behavior or etc.
where people go like, oh, I'm uniquely anxious, and it's like, no, the human condition
Is
quite anxious. We
and
were in the
especially
jungle
when you're
and
adding in
animals were eating
factors
us.
of like the social media component that didn't used to be there, and like 24-hour news, like you're adding in all these kind of like ingredients into the human condition,
Right.
Where it's like we were already probably prone to it. We have a consciousness of things, and now you're adding in things to be like, let's knock this up, let's get fucking crazy. And of course, if one's sensitive, you're gonna be pretty anxious about at times.
But
you
that,
know?
it's kind of it's sometimes I think it's like the self-care, the curse of trying to be more caring is it creates these ways that I get why people start rolling their eyes.
I know.
And why people go, oh, you're autistic. Everyone's autistic
I know.
these days.
Well, and then it gets whispering, so no one can hear us.
Turn this up in post, please.
No, but it gets to that point where then sometimes people to like, even if they haven't been diagnosed with something, but then they're speaking in a way about their mental health and about like thing, and then they're saying things that you're like, this is mean to me, like being like, actually for my thing, I can't bring any of your thing, and
my thing is I have to like
my
comment
thing is
on-
that I'm kind of mean to you, and like, do you know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kind of rude
Right.
to a friend, and I'm not gonna, and I don't have to respond to. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's sometimes in a way to like self-protect.
One
It's
day
actually,
they
like,
will make, because listen, the mental health, the DSMV, is that what it's called? The DSM diagnostic statistics.
I don't know.
It's like there's only been a couple copies, and it's basically the agreed upon definition of mental illness. It's the same thing where they stopped saying Asperger's and they made that like part of the spectrum. Like that's part of the decisions.
Sure.
I could absolutely see a year where enough, especially in this day and age in America, where enough people go, yeah, being an asshole is a mental condition.
Oh,
man.
totally.
People go, just so
wow.
you know, I'm a little bit of an asshole, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Nothing I've tried. I'm a
I
medication
like that a lot.
for it.
Let's go to our final segment. You better count your blessing.
You better count your blessings.
When you hear Douglas singing that, do you picture you as a woman singing that Douglas sings?
It's kind of puss.
It is. I can see with that one. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, my blessing.
And by the way, I'm a fit woman in it.
Oh.
And I'm my legs.
Big old tits.
Honestly, not as big tits, but definitely like a sweet ass.
See huge tits.
I see just legs, just really like. I think more like Dua Lipa than like Dolly Parton. Are you like Dolly Parton?
Yeah, I was picturing, but black Dolly Parton.
I didn't change races for mine. Mine were white every single. Even if the singer was black, I was a white woman singing.
This is good. This is good.
I'm singing "It's Raining Men" as a white woman. Do you have a blessing?
Yes, my blessing is so I did this this fun little sketch for the Tonight Show this week, and it was so sweet. Everyone, like so many people from my hometown, my little hometown upstate, you know, saying such nice things. Like it's funny, it hit them like a day later, and then all of a sudden it was like so many like lovely messages and sharing it on Facebook and it was very sweet. It was very, very, very sweet. So shout out to upstate New York and all the lovely people there.
Beautiful.
It's very nice. I'll you know, there's a weird thing with like with comedians and like writers where like stand-up comedians, it's kind of like, you know, it is your work, and they used to have writers, you know, Rodney Dangerfield would buy jokes from people and whatever, and then it became like, no, this is the most authentic thing. But as you start like doing kind of press appearances and other things, you know, there's times that you need writers, and I think about, you know, seeing Nikki Glaser like do the Golden Globes. Like I look at Nikki Glaser's career and I go like, oh, there's similar stops along this path that I could do someday, and I look at the writers that she's worked with, some of whom I know, and she's worked with them forever, and they're there with her at the Golden Globes, and it's like that's part of why it's so good, is she's come up with these writers. So I've been really thinking more like, as I do various kind of news things, or maybe where I might have like a writer or someone to pitch jokes, not the stand-up. I keep the stand-up pure as I can. That I want to start working with writers, and so I did this thing for MSNBC. It was super last second. I went way overboard. I had as many writers as Conan did for the Oscars for my 10-minute MSNBC segment, but I worked with Ariel Elias, Kate Willett, and Jeremy Kaplowitz, and they very short time pitched things. I got to read them. I got to work in my own stuff, and it's very cool to. As a stand-up comedian, it's very lonely. You work as a writer kind of alone in almost all capacities, and to feel like there were people who were willing to lend me their time for money, of course, but to just lend their talents, and to feel like, oh my God, I'm working with other writers. It was cool. Yeah. And I'm trying to like figure out who do I work well with now. So one day when I'm hosting, let's say the AVN Awards, the Porn Awards, that's my personal dream.
You'll talk for that.
People to work with.
I'll talk for that.
Yeah. You will, for sure. Do you have a blessing?
Of course I have a blessing. We talked a lot today about formative years, adolescence. I'm grateful for the Power Rangers, and it is because at an age where I wanted I was so confused about what I was able to like and what was not okay for me to like. There was this TV show that I was able to be obsessed with, where it was like cool because it's about fucking like fighting, you know, action figures. It's about violence. It's about, you know, boy stuff. And yet I was able to find within it some of my like all the boys are so gorgeous, and like, you know, I was able to like develop like boy crushes, and I also became obsessed with the color pink because of Kimberly, and so that became like a lifelong journey with me, like finding a way to embrace something that was like a, you know, a color, something as simple as a color that was like off limits for me. I was thinking about this today. I was like that TV show, like more than anything when I was a kid, like really, really helped me kind of like under the radar, like express my queerness, my gayness.
What about, Rita Repulsa feels drag.
Oh, sweetie, Rita Repulsa is my whole personality.
Yeah?
Yeah, and mama, she's tucked on a 2-show day, let me tell you that. It is, yeah. Rita Repulsa is everything.
Oh, I like that as a fun fact for like behind the scenes. Like, did you know that in every scene Rita Repulsa is actually tucked?
Wow.
All the putties. Where can people find you?
Well, online across all socials. OMG, Hey Rosé. Oh my God, Hey Rosé. You can check out my website, ohmygodheyrosé.com, for any updates, performances, tours, all the links to my music. YouTube, find all my music videos. I'm pouring so much of myself into that this year. Yeah.
Amazing.
Totally.
Russell, where can people find you?
At Russell J. Daniels on Instagram. I'm just and then when does this come out?
We're trying to. I have a sense, but we're trying to not give exact, just in case we shift things around. But I think you can go ahead and plug your thing.
Our thing.
Our thing.
Yeah.
Which thing?
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, I guess I do have one thing, and then I'll be doing The Imaginary Invalid.
That's what I was thinking.
Off Broadway. In end of May to end of June. So come check that out. New World Stages.
Would you be willing? We pick one of those show dates
to tuck,
and you tuck.
Yeah.
And the downside, people come and only they know.
Yeah.
And they can tell the whole audience.
Yeah.
They have it in the playbill. You open it at this performance. The role of Russell J. Daniels
will be tucked.
The Patreon's gonna be lit that day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so doing that, and then if this is still in April, come to Uncle Function at the Bell House in Brooklyn, Wednesday, April 30th, 7 p.m. Gianmarco and I will both be there doing sketch comedy to a big old house of people. We hope to see you there. Please come. And then if you are in Burlington, Vermont, come see The Downside live Thursday night, May 1st. We will be there with two of our boys,
Great.
Chris Cafaro and Douglas Goodhart, also from Uncle Function, will be there in Burlington.
That's the most energy you've ever put into a plug.
I know. I'm really trying to do it.
But it was definitely, you could feel it was the first time.
I know.
There was
some like having a stroke. I was like, what is...
You can find me everywhere at Gianmarco Soresi. Guys, please, I'm telling you this Patreon, whether you just want to support the show financially or you want some bonus stuff, we got a lot of great behind-the-scenes things. We have exciting announcements coming up soon.
Yeah. And if you're thinking about it and you're on the fence, just remember I'm still paying off $20,000 in fees for my dog's surgery. His legs still don't work. So please join the Patreon.
This is The Downside.
You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.